Developing news in the convention center controversy Target 12 has been tracking for weeks. We've learned grand jury subpoenas have been issued in an ongoing investigation into an audit that House Speaker Nicholas Mattiello ordered of the Rhode Island Convention Center.
It's a story we first broke on WPRI.com. Target 12 investigator Tim White is here now with the exclusive details. Tim?
Mike and Shannon, the subpoenas were given to at least 4 officials at the convention center this morning, calling them to testify before a grand jury next week. As Target 12 first reported, the state police are looking into the audit Mattiello ordered at the request of the convention center. The speaker's audit order came at the same time as his friend James Demers, who works at the convention center, was the focus of a personnel investigation there. Mattiello has repeatedly denied the audit was a form of retaliation, but he did cancel the order after Target 12 revealed it wasn't authorized by the General Assembly committee that is supposed to sign off on them. We already know detectives from the state police's financial crimes unit conducted interviews last week. Among those they questioned is a top aide to Speaker Mattiello, Frank Montanaro. The Attorney General's office and the head of the state police, James Manny, would not confirm nor deny the grand jury investigation. A spokesperson for Speaker Mattiello has not returned our questions about whether the Speaker's office has received any subpoenas. With the Target 12 investigators, Tim White, Eyewitness News.
Major developments in the convention center controversy.
As we first reported on WPRI.com, grand jury subpoenas have been issued in the ongoing investigation into an unauthorized audit ordered by the Rhode Island House Speaker of the Convention Center.
We've learned at least 4 people were subpoenaed to testify before a state grand jury next week.
Target 12 investigator Tim White is here now with the latest developments. Tim?
Mike and Shannon, today's news of a grand jury probe signals the Rhode Island Attorney General's office is now involved in the inquiry. Target 12 has learned subpoenas have been issued to several people at the Rhode Island Convention Center to testify before a grand jury next week as the state police continue their probe into an audit of the agency ordered by House Speaker Nicholas Mattiello. Among those getting the subpoena, Convention Center General Manager Larry Lepore, Executive Director of the Convention Center Authority Jim McCarville, Robert Lauro, Director of Events and Services and Operations there, and Convention Center Authority Board Member Paul McDonald. As Target 12 previously reported, McDonald was confronted by Mattiello in December, days before the controversial audit was ordered regarding a personnel investigation involving the Speaker's friend, James Demers, who is Director of Security at the Convention Center. Mattiello has repeatedly denied that the audit was retaliation over the investigation into Demers. During a taping of Newsmakers last month, he told us he received information about the Convention Center that concerned him.
They're running their own little fiefdom, and I'm not saying that in a negative way. It's a self-contained operation, but there's a ton of taxpayer money down there.
But Mattiello has since canceled the audit after Target 12 learned it was not authorized by a majority vote of the JCLS as required by law. The JCLS is the administrative arm of the General Assembly. Last week, detectives from the State Police Financial Crimes Unit interviewed Frank Montanaro, a top aide to Speaker Mattiello and the executive director of JCLS. Now, a spokesperson for Speaker Mattiello tells us the Speaker was not subpoenaed, but he refused to ask other staff members if they had received a demand to testify before the grand jury. With the Target 12 investigators, Tim White, Eyewitness News.